broadcasting from across the North American continent of the Terran Empire, bringing you our unpopular Star Trek opinions since 2020. This is Code 47.
And we are back. Secret Friends Unite Podcast Network presents Code 47. This is episode 45. This is Charlie Carden, Trek Lord of West Michigan, captain of the USS Grand Petoskey, a chapter of the International Star Trek Fan Club, coming at you with my co-host, Lieutenant Commander Raren. That would be Rich and Aaron. Rich is having a little bit of difficulty, as you can see if you're watching us on video.
I just saw Aaron's username.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, I couldn't even change mine. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm too serious, because I'm running the shit. I don't know. But at any rate,
it's okay, Pappy.
Every time I got kicked out, it took me to this screen where I could change my name. So the second time I was like, I'm going to tell him that I'm not happy with this.
Oh my God. Oh no. Well, we are on a little bit, we're all business tonight. We don't have a lot of time to kick around, but we do have like a really cool new episode to do that is going to actually pioneer a new format of the show. Now, starting next week, the next episode, we have Lower Deck Season 2 kicking off. Our format is going to be, we're going to cover that episode, and then we're going to segue into our new segment, which I have already forgotten. Infinite Diversity, our new segment, where we're going to talk about a socially relevant segment of Star Trek going across the entirety of the franchise. So what was decided is that we're going to take this episode and we are going to take on a two-parter to fill it up and to kind of give you a taste of what's to come. So now this was, Rich, this was your idea, or Aaron, this was your idea to do this episode?
This was Aaron's idea to do the episode.
Okay. Well, guess what,
two
Aaron?
Episodes.
Guess what, Aaron? You're going to be doing a lot of the driving here. So I'm going to kick it right over to you. Why don't you introduce to our faithful listeners what we got going on here?
Okay, so we chose to watch tonight a two-parter, which is Past Tense, Part 1 and Part 2. This is Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and it actually has a lot of social relevance to things that have happened, I guess, fairly recently in history within the last 100 years, things that are ongoing, problems that we can have in the future if we remain on the same trajectory that we're on now. But it's not too heavy. I mean, we are going to talk about homelessness and things like that quite a bit, but I think it's a good launching point for us if this is what we're doing, which the three of us agree is fantastic.
For sure.
I do want to warn anyone listening, the three of us are so similarly liberal-minded when it comes to social issues that this might not be for you. But
right.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, we are all we're all like-minded a lot about this stuff, and we don't talk a lot about politics, but we are all dyed-in-the-wool haters of Donald Trump and people that support him. Sorry. To hang that right out there, we on SFU, our social media group, we do not espouse politics, but it's pretty hard to dance around it this way. So I would imagine that we're going to talk a little bit more about the episode than we're going to talk about individual politics or individual politicians, I should say.
We won't be talking about politics for the most part, I don't think, with this one, except for maybe past politics, gulags and Stalin and Russia and things like that.
Sure.
So
for sure.
But that's as deep as that'll probably get today.
Good deal. Well, all right. Well, let's kick it off. And again, we're talking about episodes. This is season 3, episodes 11 and 12 of Deep Space Nine. Aired in January of 1995. My God, I was my freshman year in college. living in the dorms at Michigan State University. So
I was before. 14.
Yeah, Michigan, you big dumb.
You're 14?
I know. Rich is the old man. I'm the monkey in the middle, and you're the bebe of this group.
Yeah, I think in 95, I would have been like 14. I was born in 81,
okay.
So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was 76, so I was 19. So, this was a crazy change of pace for Deep Space Nine, a show that is largely set in a space station in the far-flung corners of the Star Trek universe outside of the Federation. But we have our folks making a trip back to Earth for a conference, and they're just gonna, Do a regular old Dax, Bashir, and Sisko are just going to beam down to Starfleet headquarters, and when they do, that's right, transporter malfunction. Womp
Oops.
womp.
Never
But it's
happened.
a weird one because it's not like it beamed them, to Tahiti or something. It beamed them back in time 300 years to the early
Gotta go
2020s. Actually,
back in time.
in
Oh
time.
no,
Dun dun
Huey
dun
Lewis.
dun. Back in time.
All right, so I
I
have a question. I have a question about transporter malfunctions.
okay.
They're never good malfunctions.
Well, what? Okay, all right. Well, let me turn your statement into a question. What would be a good transporter malfunction?
Ending up in Tahiti.
Yeah, somewhere
Which
nice.
I just said that.
I
So,
know.
okay, you're right. You're right.
I'm thinking to
You're right.
myself, well,
That's
they
why
never
it's
would go to
strange
Tahiti,
that
right?
you acted like it was odd. Like, what could be good when you had just
Yeah,
literally
Right.
said it?
you
Right.
threw that
Yeah.
out there, man. That's all you.
All right.
But
All right. I got it.
so
So
like
anyway,
to send them to, oh look, they're 50 years ago and everything's great still because they're still within that, the confines of the Federation and all that stuff. Well, at least for humanity anyway, right?
yeah, right. Or
But
if it was, like they're back in Kirk's time where
right.
women don't wear clothing and whatever, much clothing at all or whatever. So,
Most of them
so
are
anyway,
green.
most of them are green. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they get tossed back in time. And it's not a good scene. They wake up on the street. Dax or they wake up. Dax is gone. It's just Bashir and Sisko. They've been mugged in the night, so it's like they don't have their comm badges. They don't have anything, and then they get approached by these local cops because they're in a sanctuary district. And this is where we start to figure out that things in the 2020s, where we live now, are maybe really not so great. And again, this was 1995.
Right.
They're
So
very
the
similar to the 1930s. I mean, like let's
yeah,
be
very
honest
much so.
about it.
Depression era,
Ghettos,
and yeah.
um, gulags.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's interesting that this episode in the second portion does actually literally touch upon the 1930s that Star Trek itself visited in the episode "City on the Edge of Forever" with a little Easter egg. Which, if you didn't catch it, I will drop that when we get to that point in the episode. But yeah, Sisko and Bashir wake up. They're being interrogated by these local district security
Thugs.
police, and Dax is nowhere to be seen. Turns out that they were backed up against a subway entrance. She's at the bottom of it, and nobody found her. So she's later discovered by. I'm going to let Aaron take this away. Who discovers Dax?
Rick Astley.
Never gonna give you up.
Never gonna let you down.
You down.
It's your turn.
So
Keep singing. I'm
Rich,
kidding.
you haven't sung yet. Come on. Oh, you're never gonna run around and desert you.
No one needs to hear me sing, dude.
Okay, buddy.
You can
That's
sing
all right. You know what?
Together Forever.
Together forever. Okay, very good. Let's get back to the episode. So anyway, what happens is Bashir and Sisko end up at the processing center in the sanctuary district where they're, in line with a ragtag bunch of
Doesn't
people.
processing center, though, when you're looking at it the way it's written, sound like that's somewhere that like cattle's gonna go to become
Pretty much.
meat?
Maybe kids at a border between Texas and Mexico or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah,
I wonder.
They put them in much smaller cages.
Yeah,
there.
That's
exactly.
true.
But
That is
yeah,
true.
if you look at this waiting room, it looks like the DMV. It's a total nightmare. It looks like the DMV crossed with the post office in hell. I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah.
But they do sit down and chat with this very nice lady who's trying to help him out. She's filling him in, and she says, "Well, you're going to have to stay here in the sanctuary." And he's like, "Well, where are we supposed to live? How are we supposed to get a job?" Well, services should be able to help you with that, but she says something akin to, "Oh, everything's backed up, or the computer's broken," and just basically like, "We process you, get the hell out of here, go live on the street."
Yeah.
Because that is the entire societal format of this sanctuary district with Sisko, which is funny. I remarked to you guys when we were talking about this. Sisko identifies himself as he and Bashir are in the next scene after, kind of walking down the street talking about where they're at, and Sisko is educating Bashir, who of course knows nothing about 21st century Earth. Well, I'm kind of an aficionado of 21st century Earth, so I'm like, really? Because everything that we have here kind of sucks. I mean, we had social media, we have Facebook and TikTok and Twitter, and he knows about all of that stuff. He was way ahead. Maybe that's why Avery Brooks is really crazy in real life now, because he saw the future and it drove him mad. It's entirely possible.
He went through the wormhole.
Yeah, yeah, in more ways than one. So,
Did you notice
but
that? Did you notice that Mr. Futterman was in this episode? He was one of the
absolutely, yeah.
thugs from
Actor Dick
Gremlins.
actor Dick Miller, who
Yeah,
passed away just a couple of years ago. Yeah, great guy who's been in friggin' everything.
yeah, he's been in a lot of
Um,
stuff.
Who did
but
he play?
anyway,
The
he's
homeless guy?
no, he was
No, he was
Mister.
one of the
He was one of the two district cops.
Oh, the
yeah,
old
There was
one.
the old guy
yeah,
and the
the old
Hispanic
one,
guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's a
So,
dude. I remember him from Chopping Mall and Night of the Creeps and stuff like that.
oh
Who's
God,
Good
who's
old,
chopping.
what's the crazy homeless guy from?
That's Clint Howard. That's Ron Howard's
yeah,
Oh,
that's
brother.
Clint Howard. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's in so many things.
who is literally as a child puts his stamp on the Star Trek franchise. He was Balak in the episode The Corbomite Maneuver. Look that shit up.
Right.
As a child.
Yep.
But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So yeah, so back to Dax. Rick Astley he's a fancy dude. It's hilarious. He's describing like, oh, I'm in charge of this internet company or blah blah blah, Channel 90 and this and that, like all these super like anachronistic shit that basically you're thinking about. We're living 2021. This is a few years from now. A bunch of stuff that doesn't mean anything. He's like, oh, it's very futuristic and blah blah blah, and I'm fancy and so he gets Dax like a nice hotel room. He gets her some fancy clothes, invites her to a fancy party where he's standing around with his friends. And they're talking about how Europe is falling apart and stuff, and it's a good thing that's not happening here. And
wow,
Dax
that's
is like,
very World War II, isn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Oh, it could never happen here. And Dax says, well, I got mugged and separated by my friends, so what the fuck are you talking about?
When my
It seems like it absolutely is
ex-husband,
happening.
when my ex-husband and I bought a house, in the attic there was like this giant, and when I mean giant, it was probably like 12 feet long, like homemade trunk. And when I opened it, there were all these weird things inside, like a bedpan that's in its original box and never used. That's probably like 50 years old. But then there were all these newspapers from World War II. And I
Wow.
was looking at them, and it was the whole attitude of all of it was Europe's war and how like the US isn't going to get involved. It's
Yep,
kind of
not
like
going to come
that.
here.
I
We're good.
was I
Yeah,
was
you're right.
surprised by like the lack of compassion, but that's very similar to this. It's not
Right,
happening
and
here.
exactly. And an attitude of the rich. It's
Mhm.
we went on vacation and it sucked because we had to cut our vacation short because of this thing and that thing. It's just like
Like COVID, maybe.
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, rich pricks, exactly. So yeah, so we find Cisco and Bashir on the street. They're kind of they're trying to get warm clothes, and so they end up trading out for some kind of skeevy local clothes. I love it how everybody looks like you said the 1920s. Everybody kind of dresses like the 1920s, big overalls and the dropey shirts. You know what I mean?
I said
So
1930s.
1930, whatever. You know what I mean? Same difference.
Well,
Everybody looks like it looks like
the
the cast
parallels
of Annie.
between this and like gulags would have happened in that
Mhm.
time period of the 30s.
Right. No, exactly correct. So yeah, so what happens is that then they bump into the eventual kind of head thug, this dude named BC, who starts shaking them down. And BC is the kind of cat that he's walking up and down the food line. Basically he's the school bully harassing you for your milk money.
Mhm.
So he does it once. He does that to Bashir and tries to shake him down and starts beating him up. And then this random guy jumps in. Now I'll back it up because I kind of missed a key piece of it. When Sisko and Bashir were sitting in the DMV, Sisko catches note of a clock on the wall, which again, as I told you guys, famously has the temperature in Celsius. Which, guys, we got 3 years, and here in the USA, we're going to finally adapt to the metric system. So
And we're
it's
gonna
hap-
backslide. And we're gonna
yeah,
backslide. No social media, no phones. It'll be
right,
great.
exactly. Yeah, we're going to have
We'll all
the
be in gulags.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be crazy.
Can't wait.
But he mentioned that they were at that the first week of September, which was a few days later than where they currently were. A dude named Gabriel Bell helped stave off a revolt in this sanctuary district, which basically turned around the entire world and destroyed this system of sanctuary districts and change. He said, and it forced the United States to address social problems that it had for 100 years, which would again put it right back in the 1920s. So exactly what we were talking about. So anyway, flash forward, the guy who runs to Bashir's defense and then gets stabbed and dies. Gets stabbed by BC is, you guessed it, it's Gabriel Bell. So now the guy that is supposed to turn everything around is dead. But fortunately, he's a brown-skinned man just like Sisko. So guess what happens?
Let me guess. Sisko pretends to be Belle.
Right, exactly. So once BC and his party eventually, and meanwhile, in between, Bashir and Cisco have connected with this guy Webb, actor Bill Smitrovich, who you've seen in absolutely everything, who's just another down on his luck kind of guy. He's got a teenage son that got beat up in a fight, and Bashir, kind of nursed him back to health, using medical stuff. So they end up hooking up with Webb, and then they end up finding out that BC decided to storm the DMV, and he's going to take things over. So Sisko and Bashir show up. They join him, and BC says, well, who are you? He says, the name is Bell, Gabriel Bell. So exactly that. And that's the end of part one.
So I have a question about
yes, please.
part one here. Sisko says that, this Bell rebellion is what kind of gets America and the world, basically, or the United States anyway, to face their social problems,
right,
and kind of start fixing things. Because we're not facing our social problems as much as we should. Do you think
we have 3 years, Rich? What do you want?
My question here is, do you think that that's something that is on our horizon? Not in the Star Trek way, but like just as a real life thing. I mean, we're very much in a spot where
I
the
think
Star Trek
it's
world was at that point.
possible, but unfortunately, I think a large part of the population has to die. And I don't mean like, let's go kill them. I mean of old age.
Right.
You're talking about this is that we're waiting for a revolution that could happen in 50 years, 60
Or
years,
just like a lot of the older, ignorant people, if they
right.
die of natural causes, then because there's a lot of them. The baby
Well,
boomers
absolutely.
didn't have enough babies, so we are vastly outnumbered by them. Once they start dying off, this will be a bit easier.
Right.
I agree. Yeah, society has moved the needle with the younger generation. That being said, obviously there are enough people that unfortunately ape the baby boomers. And again, I'm not going to talk about the Republican Party because my dad's a Republican and he's not an asshole. But Donald Trump is an animal. And look at all the people who support him.
He's also not actually a Republican either, so
exactly my point. But that was the banner he logged onto, and people that claim to follow him seem to ape that. But anyway, moving away from the political part of it.
Yeah, I have to deal with that all day, every day. So let's just get out of that.
Yeah, absolutely correct. So you're right. Is there a watershed event that could turn things around in a Star Trek way? I tend to agree with Aaron. I think
you mean
it's
like
be more
all the riots that we just had this year, and like
yeah,
it being
exactly.
in everyone's face, like how black people were
like,
being hunted and killed by police officers? You
right,
mean
and how
something
the
like
fact that it hasn't
something like that
hasn't
caught on
hasn't
film?
right.
I
Now
think
the fact that
that's
it
the
hasn't
perfect
anything.
kind of. I think that's the perfect kind of thing.
And do you think so? Did anything significant change? Did anything come of
No,
it?
not at all.
I don't think it did.
Not at all.
Okay,
I think what you're saying is right in that we don't have the numbers at this point.
Right.
We have
right.
a lot of people that are older, like you said, that are
Right.
going to kind of they're going to keep us back. There's no progress until we get past that.
Right. And it's going to be a matter of attrition. People do have to die to let go of those old ways because there have to be people that don't hold on to them.
It's just going to take longer, and I mean it's purely because of the decline of population that it isn't. So
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Exactly
we're going to be
correct.
20, 30 years behind where we have to be, but it'll probably start to happen while we're still alive.
Boy, I hope
Right.
so.
Exactly right. All right, moving on because again, I'm the timekeeper tonight because we do have a constraint.
Shut up, Charlie. You should have
Hey,
wasted so
you know,
much
I'm just
time in the beginning.
trying to do my job and be the ringleader of this 3-ring circus, literally.
How did
So moving in episode.
I just want to bring up this, and we can talk about it later. The parallels of the homeless camps, and also
Okay.
the parallels of I said the gulags, like rounding people up because they don't have ID and sending them somewhere for their protection. And something I touched with you guys, I think a couple of days ago when I was telling you about that gated hood.
Yeah.
Right.
For their protection.
Yeah, it's the exact same kind of thing. Their protection turns into the protection of the class that just doesn't want to see them anymore. Because that's repeated time and again in these episodes that they just started shoving people in there, and they didn't care who was in there because they just didn't want to look at them.
It's in entertainment altogether. I mean, I just watched the movie They Live, John Carpenter flick from
Oh
the
yeah,
late 80s.
oh
And
yeah,
that all is, there's a homeless encampment that Roddy McDowell ends up in.
right.
And there's all kinds of other movies that handle stuff
There
like
was
that. I mean,
a
this is a
homeless camp
perennial.
here, like 2 years ago, and the people in the neighborhood adjacent to it were so outraged that the mayor wasn't doing enough about it that they went to his home and pitched tents in front of it so he could see how irritating it is.
And did it make any difference?
No,
That's what they're worried about. That's what they're worried
Exactly.
about. Not that
Right.
people have no place to live, but
it's
that it
an
was irritating to
eyesore,
them.
And that is
Oh,
that
no.
that it's in your face, exactly.
Right.
So
right?
That's how it was in Seattle. Actually, I visited my sister-in-law in Seattle, and they had a bunch of homeless camps, and everybody was complaining about they don't want them there. They want them to move them out of there, but they won't move them out.
Yeah, leave
right.
it alone.
And
What do you care what it
Right.
looks like? Go on vacation, look at something nice, Charlie. I'll shut.
Yes.
I will shut up.
Yes, like I said, I'm just trying to keep us on the straight and narrow.
Calm down.
But anyway, we're launching into Act 2, it's the second part. So we've got everybody in the DMV, and they finally do get connected with the local police. Detective Preston, who was Rich, you're a movie guy. Do you recognize who Detective Preston is? That actress, Deborah Van Valkenburg.
I recognize her. I don't know where I recognize her from. Honestly.
Literally, the only thing I think I've ever seen her in is the late 1970s adaptation, The Warriors, which is what a great flick.
She's in The Warriors. Who is she? In The Warriors?
She's the chick. Pardon the expression. She's the woman. She's the
Oh,
girl.
that's
She's the
her?
girl. That's her.
Well,
I
dang,
know.
did not
I
recognize
know,
her at
right?
all.
I know. See, you're.
That's
dealing
where I
with
know
the
the name from, I guess.
you're dealing with the guy who knows this kind of stuff. So anyway, they're negotiating with her. They're presenting their demands. They basically want the sanctuary districts shut down nationwide. They want the Federal Employment Act reinstated. And she's like, well, I'll do what I can, but she's got to deal with the governor, and ultimately, obviously, that's not going to work out.
She just placated him. It was the same way that we're placated to when we complain about stuff to the government.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't seem to be that disingenuous. I mean, I don't
No,
know, but yeah, ultimately,
but
it
I
didn't
feel
really
like she
matter.
channeled like a real politician, saying like, yeah, I'll see what we can do, knowing the whole time that
Mhm.
there is nothing that can be done. She's placating you so that you'll just like let it go for the here and now.
Right. So there was a little levity provided in the episode. Kira and O'Brien are using the same chronoton particles that were lodged in the hull of the Defiant that caused the time travel accident in the first place to go back and visit different time periods that they think their friends might be in. They end up first in the 1930s, and again, I told you there was an Easter egg. When they beam down and they're outside a speakeasy and burp, 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 and they're hearing the music, there's a poster on the wall that is a replica of a poster seen on the wall when Kirk and Spock jump into the 1930s in the city on the edge of forever. So that was
fun.
a cool little Easter egg. That was a cool little Easter egg. You got to remember, a lot of these DS9 episodes were written by Ronald D. Moore, who went on to remake Battlestar Galactica. He was a massive TOS fan, grew up with it like many of us did. And he was also, vastly responsible for the Trials and Tribulations, which was the 30th anniversary DS9 homage to The Trouble with Tribbles. So,
I don't think I liked
but
that episode as much as everyone else on the planet.
I do. That is a conversation for another time, my friend.
I'll do what I want.
But anyway, I understand. Thank you
welcome.
Thank you for channeling Cartman. I appreciate it. So that was the 1930s. Then they end up in the 60s, where they have two hippies come out and they're stoned
they
as hell
flashed the peace signs as if you couldn't tell
Yeah.
they were hippies anyway. They're like,
Yeah, and then they beam away, and the stoned hippie goes, "Wow."
I don't
Or
understand
far
why
out.
he did. Yeah, so I was gonna say he said far out. It's like far
Right.
out, man. He should have sounded more
exactly.
stoned, man. He didn't sound all that stoned.
So, anyways, things are winding down. We flash back to Dax with, of course, Rick Astley. He finally agrees. So this is where I'm wondering. He finally agrees to help. Do you think the two of them maybe, maybe that's why he was so willing to help? I don't know.
Maybe he's
Men-
just
men-
a
men are not-
nice person.
And
I'd
she-
like to think he's just a nice person and that they didn't have to.
Probably not because he's a man, but You never know.
You know what? I'm not going to disagree with you. I think there might have been some nookie involved, but regardless, he does finally give up his exclusive internet channel so that all the people in that are in the DMV can tell their sad stories, and their sad stories are going to be ultimately what is going to win the day. But naturally, once we get to the end of the act. And we're getting into the final act of the episode. Kira and O'Brien do finally land in the correct time period. They're able to contact Dax via her comm badge. In the time in between, Bashir snuck out and found Dax, and they were able to get the comm badge back from Ron Howard, which was the guy who stole it in the first place. So there was your Ron Howard cameo that we already.
That was Kira's badge, right?
It was. No, it was Dax's badge. Dax got.
I'm sorry, Dax.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, Dax's badge.
Exactly. So yeah, they added a somewhat superfluous scene where she.
I like how he was just like, "You're one of the good ones."
Yeah. There you go.
I believe you.
Let me put on my tinfoil hat. So
she
anyway,
talked conspiracy to him, and he was okay with it. I have a question about this though, because when they return to regular time and the timeline is fixed, right? They've left behind Sisko's and Bashir's communicators,
comm badges.
Yeah.
So
in that way that the Terminator arm gets left behind, so that's how they create Cyberdyne, and that's how Skynet gets going.
Could be.
Do you think this effed anything up?
I don't know, because again, it was something that was pilfered by thugs and probably ended up in the melee. Maybe it was just lost.
Yeah,
or
they melted
you
that.
Never know.
They melted that shit down.
Yeah, so that they could smoke the gold. Because remember, the comm badges are made of gold.
I don't think that's why. I think it's so they could have some precious metals to buy their way out.
Yeah,
exactly. So
maybe get fake IDs.
Yeah, so it's not like in the piece of the action episode of TOS where McCoy leaves his communicator behind, and then that's cultural contamination or whatever. So it's not quite. It could be, but I don't think it is. So at any rate,
we need a follow up, man.
You think so? A little bit of fan fiction? So. I want to see Rich's fan fiction on this deal. So anyway, understandably, the DMV gets stormed. There's a big shootout. BC gets killed. Webb gets killed. Sisko throws himself in front of a bullet to save Dick Miller, Mr. Futterman. And then everything ends, and they say, well, the messages got through. And ultimately, they were Sisko and Bashir were successful in reestablishing the timeline. So they were able to beam back home again, and history was restored. But for the fact that when Sisko's just kind of looking at stuff on his pad, when he looks up Gabriel Bell, it's his picture. Whoops! I hate it when that happens. There's actually an Easter egg for this early in season 4 when Nog is being flown to Earth by Quark and Rom, Nog's dad, and he's looking at. He walks over and says, "Dad," he says, "Father, why does this Gabriel Bell human look so much like Commander Sisko?"
Yeah.
Whoops. Obviously, there is a somewhat heavy-handed line at the end of it. Said, "Commander, do you really think this kind of thing could happen in real life?" And he said, "I don't know." And then ended it. So kind of a. So
you're getting off track, Charlie.
Oh, bring it up! Bring it on back. Bring it on back.
You're getting off track. Are you in a hurry? Do you have to be somewhere?
you have to be somewhere. I'm helping you out.
So we're good.
In what way?
So wait, we don't need to say. So that's the end of the episode. So guys, I mean, we've been pretty fluid the whole time, kind of talking through thoughts. What if you were to encapsulate this into what do I legacy to the franchise? I love to use the expression. What do you think this episode really had to say, and what mark do you think it made? Apart from the fact that it's a total left turn from the kind of DS9 story that you would expect.
I've already pointed out all of these parallels, and I'm wondering.
I agree.
I'm wondering if you two have any that I hadn't mentioned.
I don't know, Richie. I mean, I feel like it's all kind of been highlighted out. I mean, this was very frightening looking at the things that have just happened since 2016 when the Orange One took office, and all of a sudden we had to build a wall for Mexico, and we had to grab migrant kids and stick them in cages and separate them, and then we had to cancel the Dreamer program, and we had to do all things that would marginalize people of a separate class and color.
I don't understand the whole wall around Mexico thing. Mexico is a lovely, lovely place. The people who live there are lovely. I don't
Yeah.
understand why there needs to be a wall. Also, I want to point out, I don't really know personally any Native Americans. I'm pretty
Nope.
sure that we are all descendants of immigrants. Not all. There are some Native American people, and where they live, their living conditions are atrocious.
They are.
A lot of
Mm-hmm.
them don't have electricity. It's quite terrible, but why can't this be a land of opportunity anymore? I don't understand why people get to make that distinction when that's what this country is founded on and supposed to have been based on.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. But
Sorry, I just
again,
went off about that stupid
no, that's
wall.
okay.
No,
We
but
we know, and we very precipitously balanced on that, letting the dumbest among us, the most ignorant among us, rule the roost for that time period, for that 4 year time period, and we are trying to fight our way out of it now. But
It's
it is
not just that
obviously
4 year time period. It
well,
was
I know, but
years
tell me a
before
time.
that too when George
Tell,
Bush was the president. Or
but tell me a time in history where we were putting kids in cages, and when people stormed, and people got organized enough to try to overthrow the government or overthrow a government building to stop a lawful election. I mean, there's no parallel in history going back over 200 years. It was 200 years in between the time
I'm
that
not
the
shocked easily by anything, but when I saw what was happening at the Capitol and I
April,
saw
yeah, April and I
the lack
watched it.
of
Yeah, watched it.
presence in stopping it, there was no National Guard
Yeah,
there was no military there stopping it. I was shocked. I didn't think I could be
I know.
shocked.
No, we sat and watched it that whole day. But anyway, we said we would try to avoid talking about politics. But
so
Richie,
I want to bring up a.
Yeah, what's up, Rich?
I want to point out that what you're talking about with the Native Americans and the reservations is kind of like the gulags in this episode.
It really is. I mean, gulags, I don't know if you guys know much about gulags.
A little bit.
a
Okay.
little bit, yeah.
Gulags are interesting because Stalin made these gulags and recruited people to go there, but they were literally rounded up off the streets if they didn't have ID. They'd just be like, a police officer would be like, "Oh, come with me. You have to go here." And they're like, "Oh, this is a mistake." They're like, I can't go anywhere. I have to contact my family. They're like, "You can contact your family when you get there." And then they can never talk to their family. They're driven 5,000 kilometers away to an island with no food, and they ate each other.
Ugh.
They're isolated on an island for their own protection. It's insane. And then when they got rid of gulags, they weren't allowed to leave because they had eaten people.
Yikes.
Like that
Wow.
somehow damages your brain.
Whoa.
You probably have some PTSD about it,
Well,
being forced to
Well,
sure.
eat people
imagine.
to survive. But
No,
I mean,
you'll do what you have to do to survive.
yeah,
You might have some PTSD, but you're not going to go around like rabidly trying to eat people. You only ate people that were already dead so you wouldn't die.
yeah.
Like it's this kind of stuff is crazy to me. So when I'm watching this episode, there are so many parallels, like the gulags having
Hmm.
stopping people without ID. You don't have ID, you have to go here. What if somebody
Right.
mugged a rich person? Okay,
Hmm.
and then
Right.
they didn't
You're
have
right.
ID and then they got stopped. They'd have to go live in this Star Trek gulag.
Right, exactly. That and that's what they're really serving it up to you as well. So yeah, they had this catch-all, one-size-fits-all solution that just shoved people out of the way. So okay, we've got this 20-block area of San Francisco that has got a wall up around it that we just don't have to deal with anything that happens in there. As long as they're not killing each other, or even if they are, as long as we don't see them, it's no big deal.
Out of sight,
So
out of mind.
out of sight, out of mind. So it's
Hmm.
terrifying stuff. So all right, let's wrap this up
So
succinctly. Richie, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that if you have anybody that doesn't have ID, right, is going
Right.
to get grounded up by these gulags and stuffed into these gulags. Do you think rich people really did have to deal with that? Because I mean, in my experience, rich people, they have resources, they have
Okay, but once
connections and
you're
that sort
in
of thing.
there, how are you going to call your way out? I mean, they
Yeah,
couldn't even
Right.
get the computer systems working to get themselves out. I mean, it is possible
that's
that you would
true.
go in there and not be able to leave.
Right.
Hmm.
True. 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 Okay. So as I said, let's wrap this up.
We're making
Let's
Charlie
have
uncomfortable.
Well, like I said, we just
You
I'm
have
trying to
20
help you
minutes,
out.
Charlie. Calm down.
It's not me, it's you. So,
It's not
and
me.
then we'll do the
It's
and
It's
we'll do
me.
not. It's
we'll do
not me.
it's not me, it's you.
Right.
So, quick rating evaluation 1 to 10. Richie.
Okay, so I would say for this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kind of compare it to the other socially conscious episodes of Star Trek. Like I just watched Measure of a
Okay.
Man because we're going to be doing a thing with that
I
this
watched
weekend.
that today. I watched that today too. That's fine.
God, what a fantastic episode!
I
But
know.
anyway, that's not what we're talking
Melinda
about here today, right?
Snodgrass.
Right,
She's amazing.
your
Anyway,
friend,
we're
somebody
not
that you
friends.
know.
We're not
Sure,
friends. Just because we've
I don't buy it.
spoken a few times doesn't mean we're friends.
So
Okay,
close, so close.
compare it,
Anyway,
please.
my I guess I would say probably give this. I would give this an 8 out of 10 DS9s because
Mhm.
I personally like when
Measure of a
there's a
Man
story
is
behind it.
a 10 out of 10 for you?
Measure of a Man is probably a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Solid,
Well,
exactly.
they
Yeah.
also had one of the greatest writers ever. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
no, I mean, she's
All
a
right,
New
I got
York
you. I
Times
got you.
best-selling author. I'm
Yeah.
not like stroking her ego
No,
because I like her.
no.
She literally is just a phenomenal writer.
Yes, and I agree with you. I'm just saying that, like, I think I laughed because I'm like, hot, like, on Star Trek. Like,
If
how
she
awesome is
could
that?
have written this, it might have been out of this world.
A solid 10.
Yeah, this might have been a
So,
10 out of 10 too.
all
Yeah.
right, Aaron, and how about you? What's your evaluation?
I'm going to agree 100% with Rich and give it an 8 out of 10.
I am in the same spot. So look at that, guys. We had 2 weeks in a row where we all loved something.
We
This
have
could.
consensus.
I know that it's not going to continue next week because we are starting Lower Decks and it's animated, and Aaron is just going to. I know you're going to crap all over it, which is your right. That's okay. But you know what? I live in hope.
Eventually, I might like one episode, but I don't like all the cartoony voices and stuff. Hey, let's read
Well,
these
it's a
news
cartoon.
stories.
Yes, let's do that. All right. Aaron, why don't you take the first one?
What's the first one?
Viacom extends Alex Kurtzman's contract, mapping out the Star Trek universe on Paramount Plus.
I'll do the other one. I didn't read this one.
Rich, you do it.
I didn't read this one either.
Oh, you guys are killing me.
You gotta do it,
It was just announced that Alex Kurtzman, who has been kind of flying things for Star Trek for about the last 10, 15 years, has extended his 5
Oh wait, I
and a
did
half
read
year
this.
contract. Well, you're a little late for that. To run the Star Trek universe through 2026. So he is the new and hopefully vastly improved. I mean, I bumped into a Facebook group not that long ago is, we hate Rick Berman. He's the new Rick Berman, but maybe he's not such a dickhead. I don't know.
Well,
but let's hope so.
Rick Berman has been accused of
a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
Hold up. Like what?
Well, you can just go look it up on your own.
You're gonna make me Google it.
You can go look at a whole Twitter feed about some lady just like roasting him. That's kind of awesome.
I'm gonna Google it right now.
Type in why Rick Berman is a bad person. Just Google that, and her Twitter will come up, and you'll be like, "Damn, okay."
I know, but anyway, Kurtzman has been signed his deal with CBS in 2018. Discovery just been around for a year. Since then, we have gotten Picard, we've gotten Lower Decks, which Aaron doesn't really care for, which is going into a second season. Discovery has grown. We have another couple of shows on the mark, like Strange New Worlds. We got Prodigy that's going to be dropping. So, quite frankly, Kurtzman has done more for Star Trek than probably Berman could ever dream of, and there is kind of more to come. There's the return of marketing with Playmates Toys. I mean, he is doing a lot of incredible stuff, and he even mentioned something about a comedy starring Worf. What?
A comedy starring Worf?
Just keep scrolling. I'm perhaps that was a little bit of a giggle, but anyway, I've been happy with Kurtzman's work. The guy,
Michael Dorn has always said that he wanted his own Worf show, so I'm all for it. I mean, I love Klingons.
The Worf. We should do there should be a Worf variety show.
There's a Worf in the house? Oh my goodness! So,
but this is cool. Here's the thing about Kurtzman, though. Kurtzman is also responsible as the writer for 2009 Star Trek and 2013's Into Darkness. He co-wrote it.
I know.
Okay.
He's also responsible for the freaking Transformers movie.
Okay, but
Okay.
2 of them.
he's also a huge Star Trek fan.
Yeah. Well,
You
why
know,
did
not
he let
like
them do that to
J.J.
Star Trek in
Abrams, who's
2009?
like,
Maybe
I
he's just
don't like this.
he's just pivoted in the right direction. So let's hope for more of that because again, he has given us. I would like to say he's given us more good than bad.
I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because of that, because he has given us more good than bad.
Exactly correct. All right, last news story, and then we got a boogie. So Star Trek Las Vegas, the 55-year mission. This is a con put on by Creation that's been going on for a number of years. It's unofficial. The official con is the one that I know at least Richie and I will be going to in Chicago next April. You hope?
I'm
I hope
trying,
too.
man. I'm trying.
All right, and Aaron,
I'll
hopefully
be-
you as well.
I'll be your date, Rich.
Okay.
Aw,
Okay.
very nice. And then we're also hoping to see Madison, who's another member of our senior staff who lives in
cool.
Kansas, to join us up there. So, and
Nice.
hopefully anybody else who's listening to my voice, we're not working the event, but we're going to be enjoying the event. So, but
I'll
yeah,
be
55-year
working.
mission has been going. Oh, I'll bet you will. working those mean streets of Chicago. But at any rate, yeah,
Gotta eat.
Creation is known for bringing well over 100 Star Trek celebrities to Vegas for this event. However, with a big surge in COVID in Las Vegas, they're going to be requiring proof of vaccination or on-site COVID tests. This is wild, but thank
This is
God.
fantastic.
I
news.
wish they would do
But it's
both.
really great news.
I wish
Yeah.
they do both. They'd be like, you have to have proof of vaccination, and you have to have ID, and you have to
And
take
you have
this
to take
COVID
COVID
test.
because if those of us who are vaccinated can still transmit it.
Right.
We can
Very
still
true.
And
transmit it.
other people like to lie about it, so
Yep.
No, are you serious?
Or get fake vaccination cards.
right.
Stab them in the brain. That's what I say. Stab them in the brain.
Stab them in the brain. So this is super cool. I loved it. This is a very Star Trek thing to be happening in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, using science, pushing science, making science mandatory. And you know, as all three of us has bumped into, you would love to think that all Star Trek people are kind of like-minded. They like science. They're very progressive. I think we've all really found out through names that we're not going to name that that's not necessarily always the case. So thank God for this. Hopefully this will save lives. I'm very excited about this. So
Yeah. Hopefully they
Good
do it in
stuff.
Chicago too, to be honest with you.
yeah, to be perfectly honest with you, it's entirely possible. So
Oh.
with that, and
We'll see.
I'm
With that-
ready. I think like New York is already requiring a vaccination proof to get into restaurants and stuff, and you're asking,
my
they're making
gosh.
people mask up. Look, that's a trend. They're setting it. It's going to start creeping this way. I can't wait.
I was going
Do
to
it.
say that's what New York does.
New
Well,
York sets
guys,
the trend.
with respect to the time constraints that we have, that is the end of the show.
Calm down,
So,
Charlie. We're gonna drag this
I'm-
out as long as we want.
I don't think so, but because of your sassy mouth, why don't you read the outro?
Okay, but I'm gonna change it.
Okay, very good.
For more
Ooh.
information about Starfleet International and beyond, please visit Graham Petoskey and Nomad on Facebook.
Oh, so brutal.
What
Friends,
the mittens is going on?
I cut out the mitten because no one cares.
Oh my goodness. Well, friends, thank you as always for joining us. We are, of course, part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. You're listening to Code 47. We also have got a great show called Co-op Mode about video games, a show about Star Wars called the Holocron Chronicles, and every Friday since 2014, your original guide to the geek side, the Secret Friends Unite podcast, coming at you. You can find all of our episodes and great original content on our website over at secretfriendsunite.com. Find us over on Twitter at SecretFriendsU. We had to remind Erin today what the address was, but now she's going to be tagging it in everything she does. Very good.
I love that shirt, Charlie.
You know what? We've reached your favorite part of the plug. Erin, you know where you can get this shirt. And what's even more exciting is that when this episode drops,
Tell me.
you might even be able to save a couple of extra quatloos.
What? I love savings.
You love saving quatloos? I love it. TeePublic shirts, hoodies, stickers, magnets, not hot pants, not hats. We're working on that. We've got different ideas, but please go out there. All proceeds do support the program.
I'm going to go there.
Your ability for us to bring you great content. So with that, friends, I'm going to tell you, thank you again for joining us. As always, that sharing is caring, and to keep on trekking.
Qapla'.
Code 47 is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for our great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, or the podcast platform of your choice. If you would like to be part of the conversation, visit our new Discord server, or join us on Facebook, or follow us at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends on YouTube, and don't forget to visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.